39 through 47. 39 through 47. It deals with infinite geometric series. Okay. Geometric series. Okay. Okay. So what is infinite geometric series? Well, infinite geometric series means when it goes on forever and ever to infinity. So we can add those up, but we have to have a caution about this. My ratio has to be, okay, has to be like 1/2, or it could be 1/3, 1/4. It could be negative, 2/3. Okay, negative 7/5. Nope, 7/15, and 7/5. So absolute value of each one of these ratios have to be less than 1. So if it was like 7/5, that's bigger than 1. I can't add up infinite number of terms. So for example, let's say my ratio is 1/2. Let's start with 1 as the first term. Multiply by 1/2. You're going to get 1/2. And let's multiply that by 1/2 again. We're going to get plus 1/4. Let's multiply by 1/2 and we get 1/8. Okay. Multiply that by 1/2 again, 1/16. You see the pattern. I can go on forever and ever, but there's a way to add all these up to infinity. When I go to infinity, I can still add those up. It's because my ratio is 1/2. Okay, as long as the absolute value of R, the ratio, is less than 1, I can add up the terms. And we have a special formula for that. So our formula, which was yesterday, was given as a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n, all that over 1 minus r. If this is smaller than 1, less than 1, if r is less than 1, as n here goes to infinity, this is going to get so small that this whole thing here will go to 0, and my formula now becomes s to infinity is a sub 1 over 1 minus r. And that's my formula. That's all I need. Okay? I can add up infinite number of terms just using that formula, provided that my ratio is less than 1. Absolute value of the ratio is less than 1. That has to be true. Okay, so let's do a couple of problems. So let me state my formula again. S sub infinity is a sub 1 over 1 minus r. That's it. It's a real simple formula. So let's do 39. Okay, 39, they say I have a 32 over 243. And they have a plus 16 over 81. They have plus 8 over 27. Plus 4 over 9. Plus dot, 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 dot. That means they want me to add up forever and ever. Okay? So, all I need to know is what a sub 1 is, which I have, which is that right there. That's my first term. I need to know what the ratio is. Okay? To find the ratio, I can take any number. Okay, let's take that number, 4 over 9, and divide by the previous one, and the previous one means the one before that, by 8 over 27. And simplify. That gives me 4 over 9. Okay, multiply by 27 over 8. Okay, the 9 will reduce 27 to 3. 4 will reduce 8 into 2. Okay, and that turns out to be 3 over 2. Okay, now, can I add that up? No, because look, this is bigger than 1. Okay, 3 over 2 is bigger than 1. That means I cannot find the sum of those terms. This thing what we call it diverges, not converges. Therefore, this diverges. Means it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So we can't add that up. Okay. Let's say you have a 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003 plus 0.0003 plus dot 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 dot. Okay. So let's add all these up. Okay, first of all, we know that to be a sub 1. Okay, now the ratio is whatever, take any number, which is, let's take the 0.03, and divide by the one before that, which is 0.3. And that's going to, this is same thing as 3 over 100. Okay, divided by 3 over 10. And when you simplify this, you're going to get 3 over 100, okay, times 10 over 3. Okay, 3's cancel. Okay, 10 reduce 100 to a 10, so this turns out to be 1/10. Well, 1/10 is less than 1. So we can find the sum. It converges and we can find the sum. Let's go ahead and add them all up. And we can use our formula to add up now. Okay, my s to infinity is a sub 1 over 1 minus r. Okay, a sub 1 is 0.3. And 1 minus r, which is 1/10, and we found that right here. And you can also, you don't have to go through all that. Remember, if you're moving the decimal point one place to the left each time, that means you're dividing by 10. Okay, so 0.3 is really 3 over 10, all that over. Okay, 1 minus 1/10 is, well, that's really 9/10. So you have 3/10 multiplied by 10 over 9, and 10's cancel out, and 3 reduces that to 1 and a 3, so this turns out to be 1/3. So when you add all this up, that turns out to be 1/3. That's why 1/3 is equal to, same thing as 0.33333, which you've seen before. Or you can write that as 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003 plus 0.0003, so on and so forth. When you add these up, you will get that, but that's the same thing as a fraction 1/3. Okay? Alright, let's go back and do some couple problems from the homework. Go back to homework number 42. So they give us an I is equal to 1, it's going to infinity, that means it's going forever. 3 times 3 times I minus 1. Okay? Let's figure out if we can add these up to begin with. Okay? I can have a hunch we won't be able to do this. Let's start with 1 first. Okay, when I put 1 there, okay, so this turns into 3 times 3 to the 0. Plus, next one I'm going to put in is 2. So 3 times 3 to the 1. And then next one I'm going to put in here is 3. So that would be 3 times 3 to the second. So this is 3 because 3 to the 0 is 1. Plus 9. Okay. Plus this is 27 plus dot 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 dot. Okay. And what's my ratio? My first term is that, a sub 1. And what's my ratio? My ratio is 9 divided by 3, which is 3. Uh-oh, that's bigger than 1. So this diverges, so I can't add up. See? There's my ratio right there. That's bigger than 1. Okay? Let's find something that is smaller than 1. Okay? Let's take number 44. Alright? Here's number 44. Okay, we have a sum. I is going to 1 to infinity, and you have a negative 3 times negative 1/3. Okay, I minus 1. That's my ratio right there. So absolute value negative 1/3 is equal to 1/3, and that's less than 1. So we can add this up. We just need to know what the first term is, because the formula says I need to know what a sub 1 is before I can add it up. Okay? So let's go find a sub 1. All I have to do is put in 1 right there for the I, because that's my starting point. So my first term is negative 3 times negative 1/3 to the 0. Okay, plus dot 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 dot, and anything to the 0 is 1. So negative 3 plus dot 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 dot. So my first term is negative 3. That's my a sub 1. Yeah, a sub 1. So when I add all that up, I don't have to actually work it all out. Just have to add them up using the formula. That's going to equal to negative 3, all that over, 1 minus the ratio. We found the ratio to be negative 1/3. So negative 1/3. Okay, it'd be negative 3, all that over 2 negatives plus positive. Okay, and common denominator here, ancient Indian secret will work. That's 3, that's 1, so it'll be 4 over 3 at the bottom. Okay, and then this gets flipped. 3 ends up on the top. It would be negative 9 over 4. So if you add all this up, this becomes negative 9 over 4. Okay? Alright, so let's do one more example. And let me do 46. You have 5.8 plus 1.16 plus 0.232 plus 0.0464 plus dot. Okay, first of all, you got to check and see if you can add them up or not. So how do we check? We take any number, which is 1.16, and divide by the one before that, 5.8. That turns out to be 0.2. Now 0.2 is less than 1. Okay, and that is my ratio right there. That's my R. So I can add it up. Okay, because it's less than 1. As long as it's less than, it can be negative. Okay, but when you take absolute value, that has to be less than 1. And absolute value of 0.2 is still less than 1. Okay, so my formula is S to the infinity of A sub 1 over 1 minus R. And what is my A sub 1? A sub 1 is 5.8. So I have a 5.8, all that over 1 minus 0.2. Okay, this is going to give me 5.8, all that over 0.8. So all we're going to do is going to punch in our calculator. Okay, 5.8, and then we're going to divide that by 0.8. Okay, that turns out to be 7.25. So if you add all this up, this will turn out to be 7.25. Will never be bigger than that. Okay, that's the lesson.